Well, thank all of you for coming back so soon, and we're ready to go here. We're going to have a lot of fun today, this afternoon, and the first thing, let me see where I'm at here. Chuck, share my book. Okay, I'll share my book. Okay. And share my book. The book is normally $12, paperback. It's online, Amazon. You can go to Bibles Plus, get it. If you don't have it, ask them to order it. They can. Also, Barnes & Noble have carried it. And you can get it on Kindle, Amazon, whatever. I have some. They're normally $12, and online I think they're 12. In Kindle, I don't know what they are. And I have plenty here. They're normally $12. Today they're $6, and I'll sign it for you if you'd like. Okay. And I wanted to just recap a little bit of what Stacy was saying earlier and what Einstein says. Einstein says, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination circles the world. So we've got to use our imagination to get what we want in life. Especially what is abundance to us. Keep that in mind. We really need to start thinking about these things and creating them. All right. Einstein also says logic will get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere. And our brain, its body is so phenomenal. It's the most phenomenal chemistry factory in the world. Just give you an idea. I've got this little green thing that I'm going to cut in half called a lime, and I'm going to put that up to my mouth, and I'm going to squeeze it, and I'm going to taste it, and boy, doesn't that taste? Can you just taste it? Your mouth starts watering just a little bit, just imagining that. Just imagine what our mind can do, just imagining that things. One of the things I really like to watch on TV is the awesome things that they create. And I think everything that's created in the world has started in the imagination of somebody's mind. Everything. And we have the most phenomenal opportunity today to have anything you want to focus on. Also, Einstein says this, science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind, okay? And so one of the things in my book I wanted to share with you about is, I really got interested in this. Science has confirmed that this theory of the realm of quantum physics is called downward causation. One of the pioneers of this scientific theory is Dr. Amit Goswami, professor of physics at the Institute of Theoretical Science at the University of Oregon. During his research over the years, Dr. Goswami asked himself, what converts possibility into actuality? After pondering and researching for many years, Dr. Goswami concluded that consciousness is the ground of all creation and existence. In other words, our universe is self-aware, and the consciousness manifests our physical reality. Now think about that. Our consciousness manifests our physical reality. And as I was trying to finish my book, my ghostwriter got really upset with me because I just kept on coming up with more things. And there's something I wanted to find. And have you ever heard of Gary Busey, the actor? He's died several times, like 3 times, came back to life. Well, he talks about his life in this book that he likes to talk about. It's called The Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. And in this book, Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth, there's a quote in there that says that when man of one language focuses on the one purpose, there's nothing they cannot accomplish. And so you stop and think about our consciousness and the realm of consciousness and what science is learning today. And one of the most phenomenal things I researched when I was reading this book, writing this book 5 years ago, is I started researching everything that Dr. Bruce Lipton wrote. And he is phenomenal. He'll be here in March, by the way, to the resort. And he was looking at the cellular level of our bodies since he was in junior high school. He got his mom to buy him a microscope. What they have learned, and the reason they have to have double-blind studies now, how many of you have not heard of a double-blind study? All right, we all have. Oh, you haven't, okay? You haven't. We have to have double-blind studies because when they invented the microscope, the real powerful microscope, put a video on it, the scientists, when they're looking at something and they're trying to prove this or that is right or wrong, and when they turn around, they leave and go to the coffee shop and they come back, the electron atomic level atoms at the subatomic level fluctuate at a different rate when he's not looking at it. So by him just looking at that with his consciousness, he is affecting the outcome of the science of that lab. So now they have to have double-blind studies where the science they don't even know, right? Now what Dr. Lipton says about that, well, okay, let me just carry that on. Well, I'll come back to it in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so let's get going here. Okay, so what is abundance? Abundance is more than enough, degree of plentiness, and this. So what is abundance for you? Just think back to some time in your life, and when you had abundance, or you didn't have abundance, and take a look at what that is and what that looks like. And because we need to really take a look at what is it that gives us peace, joy, love. What is it? And we don't ask that enough. And one of the reasons I told Stacy I want to do a workshop on abundance a couple of months ago is I was online and I'm going to this class at UNM, and this class at UNM is teaching us e-commerce online, what you can do and all. And I was in the process of researching some things, and this one fellow online that's taught a class on abundance and charged $25,000 for the class online. And I thought, wow. Well, I'd like to charge $25,000 someday, but we thought we'd start off at 20 and see where it goes. Okay, and so let's take a look at this abundance and what we need. Okay, would you pass out all of these? It says this slide 20. So whenever we're looking at the wealth and degree of plentiness and what we really need, and we look at the Pavlov's hierarchy of needs, then what we're looking at here is, at our need level, is to take a look at this and what is it that we really need? We need food, we need water, we need shelter, we need oxygen, and there's a lot of homeless people that that's all they have. Now it's nice to have security, which they don't have, that's for sure. But when it comes to what do we really need, let's take a look at what it is that gives us peace, that gives us joy, that gives us love, and no drama. Now when I threw that no drama in there, Stacy sort of said, wait a minute, we don't want to talk about drama. So let's talk about drama. The reason I want to talk about it is what's drama for me may not be drama for you, and what's drama for you may not be drama for me. Okay, so let's just take drama and sort of put it on the shelf and take a look at everybody's drama is a little bit different. I mean, for me to be homeless out there, not knowing what's going on and what my next meal coming from, and that creates drama for me. A lot of drama. I mean, it'd take me a lot of time to get used to that. But There's 2,000, thousands of people out there every day, all right? And what is abundance, and what is peace, and what is joy? Jeff Bezos and his wife each have about $80 billion apiece now, because they're going to have, he did have $160 billion until they decided to get a divorce. Now it's going to be 80. And I look at that and I think, what's abundance for them? How much is enough? And why couldn't they sort of figure this out? Okay, so let's look at what is it? So on this is, are we all on the same page, slide 20?
Read with the hierarchy.
Oh, okay. Okay, peace, joy. What does it look like? Okay. Okay. Okay, what do you need? So write it down. Just stop and think for a minute, write down. And let's just take a minute here and just write it down. What do you need in your life?
So this says, what is it that you need? And when was the last time you felt like you had abundance?
Yeah, what do you need?
I heard that part, it's the bottom, the triangle that we can't.
Oh, down here, okay. The pyramid, okay, I can't even read that. Would you?
Self-actualization, esteem, love, belonging is the third, safety, and physiological. So
Okay.
we're Maslow's hierarchy is going to dictate, we need to make sure we have food and shelter first, physiological, okay?
And so the bottom part there, in the red, is what I was referring to, is a physiological needs, food, water, shelter, all of that. That's what I was referring to at the bottom, the red. And then safety, that's one of the homeless people's biggest problem is safety, okay? And it's our biggest problem in the world today with terrorists and all that. I guarantee you, over the next 20 to 50 years, the terrorism and the safety of traveling is going to change the way we travel. Because we don't want to travel as much because there's going to be less safety. There's going to be more craziness in the world. Anyway, that's what they're predicting is going to happen. And then the love and belonging. That love and belonging is a lot of what Stacy's talking about with the NLP. Is how do we have that love? How do we have that connection with each other? And what does that look like? All right. So just real quickly write down, what is it for you? What is it that you need? When was the last time you felt like you had abundance? And what did it look like? Now, a lot of us have a hard time visualizing what that is. So what it might help you is to do like Michelangelo did. They said, how do you make a sculpture of an elephant? He said, well, I get a block of marble and I chip away everything that doesn't look like an elephant. But he visualized in his mind the elephant. So get a picture of something in your mind. For me, my abundance is when I can spend time with my spiritual partner, my spiritual buddy. And when I can be in that space of my spiritual buddy, and I can just be there and just do my meditation, do my reading of what I want and where my belief structure is, and it doesn't make any difference what it is. You can look at any of it, and when we get into some other stuff here in a few minutes, whether it's Krishna, Buddha, Christ, whatever it is, it's what is real for you, because your perception creates your reality. And Bruce Lipton, in his book, The Wisdom of the Cells, and all of that, creates that. Whatever your perception is, good, bad, or indifferent, that's your reality. You want to change your reality, change your perception, and it's easier said than done, because 95% to 99% of our actions are governed by our subconscious mind. Only about 5% of what we do and it has to be intentional, is controlled by our frontal lobe And it is a intention here that we have to really, like for example, if you want to change your habit, it takes 21 days. And if you have a trash can at work and it's on the right side of your desk, that's where you throw your trash, put it on the left side, and for 21 days you'll keep throwing it to the right. And so it takes time for us to reprogram our thinking, our mind here. All right, so let's move. And these are yours to take home with you, so this is just to get you started on things. The peace, joy, harmony, what did it look like? And what did it feel like? And, okay. I'll pass this out, will you? Give me one. Okay, I got one hand here. Oh, the next handout here is what is it that you need? What is it that you need? And when was the last time you felt like you had abundance? Let's just take a little bit of time here and let's look at a time in your past when you felt like you had abundance, peace, joy, love, with more than enough. When I say more than enough, I mean we got all of this taken care of. We have a little left over to give back to society, give to somebody, give. And it can either be time, it could be money, it can be whatever asset you have. So take a moment here. We want to take about just a few seconds here and think about what is that? Write it down for you. Write down what it is that looks like peace, joy, love, abundance. Now keep in mind this workshop is sort of like a iceberg out in the ocean. We're just taking a look at the top 10%. To get this abundance really defined, I went online and did some research. One guy says it takes 5 years because there's a lot of different things you need to consider to really find your key. What is abundance to you? What is that best work environment? What is it you really enjoy doing vocation-wise? What is that favorite vacation spot? I can remember one particular vacation years ago when I went to Hawaii. I was in the newspaper business, so I had the habit of getting up every morning at 4 o'clock. So I woke up, the window was open, I was smelling the violet and the roses and all the fresh flowers that are in Hawaii. And there was a nice cool breeze, and it was just wonderful. I can remember a time in the mountains when I got out to the mountains and I was just walking with my wife up a trail, and I can think back to that.
So it's important to think about these things because it helps us recreate them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did it feel like? Well, who were you with? Okay. Any questions about that? Let's talk about that. How'd you do? Go ahead.
When you speak of abundance, when you tell us when you felt that you had abundance, it depends upon abundance of what. I would say our material needs, let's say in this society for most of us who are middle class and above, we probably have abundance of food, clothing, and shelter. Doesn't mean that we're phenomenally rich, but it's certainly more than, in most cases I would say, this is my situation, more than enough for that. So that would be the abundance of necessities, basic necessities, which a lot of us, let's say, probably take for granted in this society, and maybe in this room, wouldn't have been able to be here at this course if we didn't have abundance of, let's say, financial resources, et cetera, et cetera. And then when it comes to joy and love, it's that more likely that there are people who do not have abundance of that, who might have had abundance of the necessities. So it depends very much on what we're talking about.
Now, you're a little ahead of me. We'll get to that on number 26.
And even this.
We'll get to that on 26.
Last time you felt you had abundance.
Okay.
Abundance of what?
Okay.
Okay, it's got to be relative to what it is that we're talking about. Abundance of love is one thing. Abundance of food is something else.
Yeah. Well, and so when was the last time you felt it? Whatever it was.
Food?
Yeah.
All the time if you live.
That's right, basically.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem, and I suspect most of us here don't have any problem with feeding ourselves, or clothing ourselves, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if we're talking about abundance of good things in a relationship, that's probably less universal, let's say, even in...
But this is what I'm trying to do is take you through a step-by-step process to get you start thinking about it. So you're doing. Okay, go ahead. Good. I appreciate you bringing that up. So let's move on here. So which one am I on here? Okay, so we filled out number 21 here. Okay. Anybody else want to any comments on slide 21? Got to have another cookie. Okay. Did you? And
There's always enough.
we have an abundance of cookies up here, I tell you. All right, abundance of sugar, I tell you. Okay.
You will, that's the problem.
Okay. All right. So, all right, nobody else had anything on slide 21? Okay, let's go ahead. Let's move on down the road here to what we're looking at here is we may not have a place we can go if we need to create one. So if you didn't have a place that came up real easily for you, then make a note of that right here on this slide on your notebook, on your paper here. Make a note. I need to find a place for relationship or food or, well, I'll cheat a little bit, go here. In a few slides down, we're going to talk about our social, intellectual, spiritual, physical, emotional. When we take a look at all of those and take a look at rate them, and maybe I should put that slide, reverse that slide next time. But we want to take a look at all areas because the one thing about life is that I've noticed is that when my life is in balance, then I feel better. When my life is out of balance in one area or the other, either social or money or food or it's a job or whatever's out of balance, I just don't feel like I have abundance. I don't have total peace. I don't have total there. I have something that's lacking. So what we want to take a look at is how can we put that more into balance. Okay, so next one, the 75,000 trillion atoms. In Dr. Lipton's research, and at the subatomic level, we have approximately 75 trillion atoms is all we are, is energy. How that's made up of is that we have about 75 trillion cells, 75 trillion cells, and each cell has approximately 100 trillion atoms. So we have about 75,000 trillion atoms. So we're energy. Every one of us in here are just energy put together in an agreement that we are who we are. And this mind is so phenomenal, this subconscious mind is so phenomenal, science has been able to operate on a person that should have a knee replacement, and their knee is bone on bone. So they go in and they do a couple of things. It looks like they did an operation. and they tell him, we replaced your knee, or they did the operation on the knee. They fine, okay, he walks out, no problem. And you can research science that they can tell you that something's going to burn you and touch you, and it will actually burn you, and your skin will raise a whelp. And so this conscious mind of ours is pretty powerful. So one of the things that we want to take a look at is how to use it. And one of the ways we can use it is to, number one, understand who we are, what we want, and then find other people that are similar, that want the similar things. And this is one of the reasons I am so excited about the Rainforest and the Innovation Academy down there, is that these people, do you understand what the concept of a rainforest? In nature, a rainforest is sort of a ecology that just sort of self-perpetuates. It's sort of in balance, and it's just out there. And with what they've created down there is a innovation academy to where, hey, let's all come together and create something new, economically develop New Mexico. And they have a grand initiative, and it's just phenomenal what they're doing down there. So, and every one of you have an idea or something, or know somebody has an idea of a product or a service or something that you could create that could make you money or create something for somebody. And so keep in mind our 75 trillion atoms are fluctuating at infinite dimensions at the same time, waiting for an intention to be put on them. And that helps us to create what we want. And let me give you an example of something I created this last 3 months. I was going through CSB1 at university about October. The professor was going through and telling us all these different online things that we could do here, and make money here, and be an affiliate with Amazon, and you can get this, and you can get that. So he's like laying a foundation to a house. He's only going about 18 inches deep. Well, I'm from the old school PhD of hard knocks. When I go to a workshop or something I'm interested in, I grab hold of that idea, and then I just drill down and make it work. And so I was really frustrated. And so I got with Stacy, and she would help tutor me. She said, "You want to make an A in this class?" I said, "Yeah." She want me to do it for you? You want to do it? I said, "Well, I'd rather do it. You help me. I'll make a B, and I know how to do it. Then you do it and make an A." Well, we put our heads together. I made an A, and I learned a lot. And so I was frustrated. I said, "Okay."
What do you want to do? You want to A in this class? Let's go.
I tell you, this lady, you want to accomplish something, you tell her what you want to accomplish, what's the end result, and one of the reasons I got with her is I had a PhD many years ago in El Paso that was into neuro-linguistics programming, and he developed a whole kit of how to use neuro-linguistics in sales and management and anything that's holding you back from getting what your goal is in life. Through neuro-linguistics, you can eliminate the barriers in your mind to getting what you want. And they wanted me to market it for him. And so that was my introduction to it. So I know what neuro-linguistics can do. And then when she was a tutor also, I thought, okay, I need Stacy to help me with my classes, and she might be able to help me with this other stuff too. And so, but back to my manifestation here. So Stacy and I have talked about, I'm in the process of developing an online business that it would take a person about an hour or two a day, about 5 days a week, about 5 to 10 hours a week, and they can earn about $33 a day online, which would be about $1,000 a month. I think every university student that needs financial assistance would love that, and that's why I'm primarily creating it. And I know a lot of people, or friends of mine, that would change their lifestyle to have an extra $1,000 a month, working 2 hours a day, which is about $40 an hour. And now if you want to make more, just put in more than 2 hours a day. So anyway, we said we were going, and so I went back to the professor and I tried to get him to help me dig deep. He didn't want to dig deep. He just wanted to go on the surface. I said, okay, I've partnered with a lady that has a master's degree in education. We're going to create a class for the fall.
Let's keep going with this because of our time.
Okay, well, just a
Okay,
second.
so because the atoms are very, very important. I just want to
well, okay.
solidify this. Yeah.
But anyway, we talked about it, and we got, and that we're going to create a class in the fall on this. Last Thursday, he said, okay, for CSB2 this spring, we're going to create one business and go all the way. So I got what I wanted, okay? But I had to ask for it. We don't get what we want because we don't ask for it. Ask, you shall receive. And the other thing that Stacy said is believe without doubt. Believe it without doubt. Take all the doubt out of it. Whatever your doubt is, get it eliminated. Talk to somebody, do whatever it is to get the doubt out.
So to solidify this too around intention and how important that is, I don't know if any of you have seen before. It's on YouTube, and I'm sorry I don't have it incorporated in this. We spoke a little bit about it. But there's a YouTube video where they take an atom, and it's got, they set it out, they shoot it out. Then they take another picture with an intention, and literally the atom splits and goes towards the intention. It's literal, it's scientific. So set a strong intention and you can actualize it. And I think that this is what you're talking about.
Exactly.
With the
That's
atoms.
exactly.
How important that is to set these intentions. Yeah, so, okay.
That's it, absolutely. Okay, Hawkins scale of consciousness. Would you pass these out? Yeah, let me just take that one. Okay, what we're giving to you now, I like for you to take this with a grain of salt. Maybe a teaspoon, maybe a bucket full of salt, okay? And because I tell you, if your perception of it is the same as my perception when I first read this in Dr. Hawkins' book, Power versus Force, I said, come on, you got to be kidding me. How in the hell did you do this? How do you know this? And so I worked through it, and my perception of things is this. I don't know everything in the world, and I don't perceive to be the genius of the world, but what I like to do is take a concept and see how I can work it to make it benefit me and other people. So on this page, when you get it, just keep it, you know, the mind is like an umbrella. It only works when it's open. So I like for you to keep an open mind, because our subconscious programming is geared to protect us. And when something new comes into our environment that our programming has no relevance to it, sometimes it just rejects it totally, 100%. And say, oh, that's BS. And that's just BS to your subconscious programming because you've never been introduced to it before. So I use this as a scale, as a model of what I want in life. So just read over that first page real quickly and let me know when you read it over. I won't read it to you, all of it. I'll just highlight some of it. But in the attainment of higher consciousness was derived and researched by David Hawkins in Power versus Force through a concept he calls consciousness frequencies. The consciousness frequency of humanity underwent a major shift in 1987, again in 2001, and he has this scale of 0 to 1,000 that frequency we vibrate at. And I'll let you just go ahead and read the whole rest of that. You can probably read it faster than I can. And when you get down to that last paragraph, the scale advances. For instance, one person vibrating at love, which is 500 on the scale, counterbalances 750 individuals below the line, while one enlightened person of 700 counterbalances 7 million. I don't know how in the world they came up with that, other than all of this is verified by kinesiology, the muscles, the science, and there's a lot of science on this worldwide. The kinesiology of the muscles do not lie, and that's the science that this is based on, okay? So I'd like for you to just turn to the back page first, and I'll just go the back page first, and that is love to enlightenment. So love is on a scale of 0 to 1,000, he's saying that love is at 500. And that's total unconditional love, a permanent understanding of one's connectedness with all that exists, a deep sense of compassion at the level of reason. This one is living in service to the mind. At the level of love, one has now places his mind and all their talents and abilities in service to one's heart. And this is a level of awakening to one's true purpose. All motives at this level are pure, uncorrupted by the desires of the ego. This is the level of love, lifetime service to humanity, beginning to feel as being guided by a force greater than oneself. Examples are Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Dr. Albert Schweitzer. Hawkins claims that this level is attained by 1 in 250,000 people. 250 people during their lifetime. And then you go to joy, it's 540. This is the ultimate scale of pervasive, unshakable happiness. It describes a state in the power of now. This is the level of saints and advanced spiritual teachers just being around people at this level makes you feel incredible. At this level, life is fully guided by synchronization and intuition. There is no more need to set goals, make detailed plans. The explanation of the consciousness allows one to operate at a much higher level. And when you get to this level, it's just you're transcending. And then its peace is 600, supreme, transcendent, and Hawkins claims the level is reached by only one person in 10 million, and enlightened, 700 to 1,000. So the highest level of human consciousness, where humanity blends with divinity, extremely rare. The level of Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, even to just think and study about people at this level can raise one's consciousness. Now, this level here is what it helped me to visualize. I want to be at 500 to 600. This is where I want to be. This is my consciousness where I want to be. I don't want to be at the 200 or under level. So let's go back to that. And before we leave that last one, I just want to go down to the bottom there. A little video I saw one time. I thought it was sort of funny. It says the level of Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, whatever your belief is of your higher power, I don't care. But this video I heard one time was a female student was going across the campus, and she got grabbed by a guy. He pulled her behind a tree, was going to rape her, and then all of a sudden he let her go, and he took off. And so she was yelling and screaming, and the police caught him. And so they started asking him later on, they said, "Why did you let her go?" And he said, "Well, if you would have seen those two big guys behind her, you would have let her go too." The angels that showed up. And then they asked her, said, "Well, what did you do?" She said, "I just started screaming, 'Jesus, Jesus, help me!'" And so I just wondered what would happen if she just yelled, "Buddha, Buddha, help me! Krishna, Krishna, help me!" So I just thought that was sort of funny, whatever. But let's go back to the second page. Shame is at 20. Have you ever felt shameful when you did something? Well, that really takes you the bottom down, all the way down. Guilt, apathy, grief, fear, Grief. You know, when somebody dies and we lose somebody, we have that grief feeling that just really lowers our energy level, our frequency level. Fear, desire, anger, pride. Now, pride at 175, I know a lot of people that are at pride level. And Dr. Hawkins says that the average of population is 200. So there's some below, some above, and we'll get into the 300 to 500 in a minute. But he says that when somebody feels very strongly about something, and I know some religious people that feel so strongly about their religion, they're right and everybody else is wrong. I think they're at 175. And so, okay, so let's move on to the other page. That a page that's their courage to reason scale. At 200 level, we get up to 200, that's at courage, and a level of true strength, and it starts a challenge there. Neutrality at 250, willingness at 310, acceptance at 350, reason at 400. Now, when we're at this level, and I bet if we all study this, we all had a little time to talk about it and process it, I bet most of us in this room would be at somewhere between 200 and 400, maybe even 500. And at different times, we're at different frequencies. And you want to increase your frequency? Go for a walk in the park. Go for a walk in the forest. Find things that give you joy. That will raise your frequency. Be around people that are positive, that you like, and start finding what is it that resonates with you. Who are you? And what is it that resonates with you to give you peace, joy, love, happiness, and more than enough? Okay, well, that's at there, and let me see where we're at 3:30. We may take a vote as to whether to end this or move on. Okay, so abundance, what does that look like? So at this point in time, just take a look at what does abundance look like to you. We've talked about it, and it's different for everybody, but what is abundance for you? And then let's get the number 26. Would you hand that out? Yep. And on this one, we're handing out, give me one, top one. Thank you. Okay. On this one, what we're going to do is we're going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5. And on what is abundance for you at this moment? Now, what is the most important components of who you are now? In the list below, there is an order of importance in our everyday life. Score each of these on a scale of 0 to 5. 0 being you're totally despondent, totally depressed in this area of your life. And 3, it needs some improvement. Or 5, hey, I'm fine in this way. And social, intellectual, spiritual, physical, emotional. Well, let's take a look and sort of discuss that a little bit. What is social? All right, social is your spouse, your partner, your family, your loved ones. If you're a member of a group, if you go to church, what is social for you? All right. Intellectual. I think a lot of people we tie intellectual to our job, or to our vocation, or whatever, our career, or if we're going to school, or what is that intellectual stimulation that we get? What is that? And then our spiritual. What is your spiritual consciousness? What gives you abundance? When you're really on a level of 5 spiritually, where is that for you? For me, it's when I'm walking and I'm listening to an audio tape of Oswald Chambers, and I'm thinking, I'm praying about where I'm at, what I want to do, and I'm just walking and talking for about 40 minutes. I remember doing that a few months ago, and I thought, I enjoy this so much that if anybody wants me to do anything for them, it's going to cost them $250 an hour, because I enjoy this that much that I don't want to leave this space. And if I leave this space, I'm going to get paid for it. All right, that's back when I was doing my wealth transfer and doing a lot of things before I retired.
So can I just interject
Yeah.
here?
Mhm.
Okay, so what I'm getting from a lot of this here is that identifying and clearly seeing our goals, where we want to be, how we felt like, what it smelled like, what it looked like, is going to get us back there again. Okay? You brought up a good point too about Maslow's hierarchy. Because he said, if we're full, we're not hungry, right? We're not thinking about food. So maybe, it's like identifying these needs, these certain areas in our life that we want to fill in. And that's where a lot of these worksheets come up, okay? So really taking a closer look at yourself. And I think we need to finish on this next one for time-wise, which is, I think this is really good here too,
Yep.
is this visualization of this.
Okay.
So in order to, what do you want to create in your life in 90 days? Where do you want to be in 1 year? And if you write this down, think about it. Help yourself co-create it. Put it in your top drawer. Come back to it. You might be surprised at what you have in there, because we can make these things happen, but we have to visualize them first. We have to hear them. That's why we identified in the beginning of the workshop. We want to feel it, right?
That's absolutely.
So this will be our last, we've got to wrap
Right.
it up. Yeah.
And so, while she's handing it out, the physical, rate that, your emotional life, rate that, and all. Now, the slide she's had, the workshop sheet she's handing out is, what do you want to create in your life in the next 90 days? What do you want to create in the next year? What do you want to create in the next 3 years? Now, the reason I put this in here like this is this. 3 is very important in the universe for some reason. I don't know why, but it's 3 things comes up a lot, okay? And so one of the things about 3 years is that every cell in your body will die and be replaced this year. So let's just say you have 50 trillion cells in your body. There's 1 trillion cells dying and being replaced every week. Now, if you want to change your life, you want to change your thinking, you want to change your brain, you want to change anything, start working on what you want, and you start telling yourself what you want, and as your new 1 trillion cells are coming together, then there's new programming going in there, and you can put a new program in 3 years from now. All right? I have a client who's a doctor and has been teaching some really phenomenal wellness things for decades. But he didn't have a doctor that he went to. He developed cancer. And he was stage 3 of some pancreatic cancer or something, went to his bone and all that last September. In January, because of what he knows, what he did, he's feeling better than he felt a year ago, and he's back working today. Because of them stopping the cancer cells and killing what was there, and the new cells that were the trillion new cells being created every week were getting healthier. He was getting injections of vitamin C, which kills cancer cells. They've known it for decades. So the thing about all of this, it's a worksheet for you to improve your life. And one of the things that I'm doing with all of this is I'm creating an online method of communicating with people. And I'm going to be creating a millionaires club and a people to get together. And if they want to get together and just chat about things in person, on the internet, something, once a month, I normally charge like $250 an hour. But what I'm going to do is start it off at $37 a month. and then that'll go to $67 a month and then $97 a month for 1 hour discussion, consultation in the future on whatever subject you want to work on for yourself in the future. My book is available, $12 normally. Today is $6. I'll sign in if you want. And
Great.
I think that's it.
And I think one of the things too, you talked about a lot of really interesting things, and one of them that I really liked was you were talking about that gentleman that went in to have his knees done. Mm-hmm. And so, that's something we want to be careful of what we're being told as well as what we're telling ourselves. He believed he had had surgery and didn't.
Yep.
It was
Yeah, and for me,
the power of belief is very, very strong.
and for me personally, I have a left knee that's bone on bone. They wanted to replace it in 2012 after they replaced this hip. And I finally was going to give in a year ago November and have it replaced. And when I went in and talked to the surgeon about all the things that could happen, I left there and I said, Lord, if there's any way of not having that surgery, I want to know about it. And so I drove up the street and I saw this apocalypse sign, and I went in and I bought some CBD, and I took a swig of CBD, and you just take this like this.
There you go.
No pain, and so it's mind over matter. If you don't mind a little pain, it doesn't matter. Okay?
So be careful what you ask for, you will get some form of it.
That's
is
right.
what we're talking about. So you want to keep those, be alert. Most
So-
likely it will come to you in the way you visualize it coming to you. The universe has a way of creating things, okay? And so we want to welcome these new ideas and images. Here's our contact information,
Yep,
right?
right.
Okay, so if you have any questions or anything, we're going to wrap it up. But if you have any questions or anyone wants to visit with us afterwards,
Yeah.
right?
And we're available anytime, internet. If we do Zoom or Skype meetings, I love Zoom, Skype meetings. Anytime. I have a workshop coming up in March on the disc profile to learn how you, are you a high D, high I, high S, high C, or low? What is your one of 16 classical profiles? And what is the best type of a career for you and all that? We'll be doing that in late March or April. So thank you so much for coming.